Hey, Mathieu, just obviously with Edmonton on tap tomorrow, the last time you two teams meet, how important is it to break that losing streak against them? And how important is it to get a victory leading into what will most likely be a first-round matchup between you guys?
Yeah, I think we definitely have to come out and play a better game. Obviously, we want to beat them, but we also want to go back to playing a style of game that is going to give us a chance to be successful down the stretch here and in the playoffs. So we got to go back to keeping things a little bit more simple. Obviously, being aware when McDavid and Draisaitl are on the ice. Sometimes you got to cut your losses there when they're out there and making sure you get the puck down their end and try to keep their speed away. So this is the things we're going to be trying to get back to so we can get ready for when it comes playoff times.
Go next to Paul Friesen from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
Thank you, Gregor. Good morning, Matthew.
Morning.
Afternoon, sorry. What's the mood there after on a day like today? You know, you've lost 4 straight and after a blowout. What's the mood and what kind of stuff do you work on?
Yeah, obviously the mood is not great. It never is when you lose games. But we came out today, had a good practice, worked hard. And like I said just before, we just got to get back to keep it a little bit more simple, especially against these guys. You know, we got to make sure we keep the puck. We stay on the defensive side of the puck the whole game. Hard reload. So this is things we're gonna have to address and do better next game. So that's the bottom line.
Go next to Sean Reynolds from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Sean.
Thanks, Gregor. Matthew, you've alluded to it a couple times about getting back to playing a style of game that's going to bring you success. When and why do you think that you guys lost that?
I'm not sure. I think it's kind of been creeping in our game for a little bit here. We got away with it. We were still able to win games, but now coming down, the stretch in the playoffs, it's not going to work. Not so sure why. I mean, it's a hard game. You want to win games in this league, you got to do the hard little things. It's blocking shots. It's chipping it in and maybe not forcing a play. There's no whole plays anymore, especially against these guys. You make a whole pass somewhere and it gets knocked down. It ends up in the back of your net. So this is it. Basically, just awareness on the ice, being smart, and doing the hard things that makes a team win games.
We'll go next to Scott Billick from the Sun. Go ahead, Scott.
Thanks, Gregor, and hello, Matthew. You're not the first guy to say since last night that you guys kind of I guess got away with a certain style of play for a stretch of time. Is that, I don't know, is that a failure of the players not seeing it or catching it? Or is that a coaching thing? Like, how do you get to that point? And I suppose, how do you get out of it, I suppose?
I think it starts with shorter shifts a little bit. We've been extending, hoping sometimes, there's an extra rush you want to join because you think maybe you could go in and get a goal or something when you should have probably got off the ice. That's a good starting point, I think, for everybody on the team. You've been out there for 30, 35 seconds and, you're going up the ice. You should be looking to change so we get fresh guys on there instead of, changing on the back check. We've seen that way too much lately. Some guys, and I do myself sometimes, you try to extend a little bit and then you get cut. So it's, I think this would be a good starting point for us to shorten our shifts and making sure we all get guys fresh on the ice, especially with McDavid and Draisaitl on the team.
Just a couple more for Matthew. We'll go next to Carter Brooks from Game On. Go ahead, Carter.
Hi, Matthew. Earlier you mentioned cutting your losses with guys like McDavid. Does that ever happen where you might have to use the mentality of cutting your losses with certain teams, especially when you've lost 4 straight? And if so, how do you get out of that mentality?
Yeah, I mean, if you're on the ice against them, you just got to be aware of it. And if you get the puck on your stick, you got to make sure it's going somewhere safe and away from your end. You try to get it in their end. And obviously, I think we gotta get a guy, throw some skating picks on him or something, like get in his will a bit more. but yeah, you always have to be aware when he's on the ice, and we're gonna have to do it as a whole team. Every time you're on the ice and he's on there, someone's got to pick him up and stay with him.
And final question to Kelly Moore from 680 CGOB. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thank you, Gregor. Good afternoon, Mathieu. A two-part question for you here. Last night, Paul Maurice made the comment that Toronto and Edmonton have found that gear, and it looks like the Winnipeg Jets, when they came off the road, haven't found it. So I'll get you to comment on that. And when you mentioned, the slippage, is that just on home ice, or is that home and the road where you've seen that slippage in your game, on a gradual basis?
It mostly seems at home right now. Obviously, the last 4 haven't gone our way at all. Yeah, not sure. We're going back on the road at the end of this week. I think it might be a good thing for a team to have a chance to get together a little bit more. And for the first part of the question, yeah, I think it just hasn't been good enough. And it's everybody. We had a talk. It's just gonna have to go back to do whatever is possible for you to keep it out of your own net to begin with. If the guy next to you in the room on both sides can say after they come off the ice they didn't get scored on, then I think we're in a good shape. That's mean no one gets scored on. We have a great chance winning the game. So I think our priority now should be doing whatever it takes to keep it out of your own net and then go from there.